I chose to write my speech on the famous Brandenburg Gate speech by President Ronald Reagan. June 12th of 1987, President Ronald Reagan addressed the world with this speech in front of the Brandenburg Gate, which is also better known as the Berlin Wall. This is actually the same spot that President JFK addressed Germany 20 years earlier on that same exact spot. This speech was to basically address the Soviet Union General Nikolai Gorbachev. One, to tear the Berlin Wall down, which was separating the East and Western Germany. Western Germany was controlled by countries like Britain, the United States, and France, and Eastern Germany was being controlled by the Soviet Union, which was actually constructed after World War II to keep Germany from falling into rule by such people as like the Nazis. They didn't want to cause the havoc that happened, basically another World War II all over again. But it looked like in the 1980s there was a sudden call for Germany to be able to govern themselves again. And President Reagan, he was a vast supporter of that cry out. So he gave his speech, like I said, on June 12th, 1987. The president gave his speech, which was, clear, to the point. He said with a stern voice, which is actually when the president coined his famous words, "Come here to the gate, Mr. Gorbachev. Open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear this wall down." President Reagan believed that with that wall up, that there would be no freedom for the German people. Basically, the wall separated all of Germany, so you couldn't travel freely. Basically, after a few years from that speech, the Eastern government did actually, crash and burn. Communism steadily was dying out in Germany, and it actually brought the Berlin Wall down. Germany did eventually get to, reunify themselves, and then they did elect to basically run the country as a democracy. During the speech, President Reagan, he used great eye contact with his crowd. He was clear, he was decisive. He did stumble on a few words, like everyone does. I felt like he had the attention of his crowd very good. As from watching the video, you could see German and American flags waving everywhere. People were hanging on his every word and cheering for everything that he said. President Reagan was a good speaker. He did show great emotion in his speech. By listening to him, I felt and believed that he meant everything that he said, and he did follow through with everything that he said. When analyzing the audience of the speech, like I said, I feel like they were involved in the speech. They cared about what he had to say. Basically, they all wanted freedom for their country and to get the communist rule out anyways. When evaluating the impact of the speech, obviously the impact was huge. Like I said, a couple of years after the speech, America and the Soviets, they continued in talks, and it actually did wind up freeing all of Germany from communist rule. And with that said, I believe I'm done.